Calipari is the definition, and I mean the perfect definition of a sleazy car salesman. But the problem with all this is, guys, is John Calipari is simply getting outcoached. You just needed an excuse to get rid of Calipari, and here it is right here. Because after the St. Peter's upset a couple years ago, you could have said, well, that's a fluke. But losing to now a 15 seed and a 14 seed, it's not a fluke, man. It's not. So I just got done watching a future car insurance salesman completely light up Kentucky and, more importantly, future NBA players. And people wonder why us men love March Madness. It's for what just happened a couple hours ago in the Oakland versus Kentucky game. That's it. That's all you need to know. I mean this with no disrespect. You got a random Joe Schmo that goes by the name of Jack Golke. None of you watching this video have even heard of the guy before a couple hours ago. And now, he's the next best thing since sliced bread. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9. Count them. 10. Jack Golke made 10 threes. And you know what? Hold on. Clap it up, clap it up. I got to clap it up to him. Heck of a performance. One of the best performances I've ever witnessed. And what's so impressive about him making 10 threes is the degree of difficulty on every single one. It was ridiculous. He might have, and this is a maybe, I got to go back and watch the film, had 1 to 2 decent looks. The other 8 or 9 he made, contested. Almost every single three-pointer he made, those are the type of shots you only shoot on a heat check. Much respect to Golke. Kid played out of his mind, or I say kid, really young man. I mean, the dude's older than me playing college basketball. Like I was saying, though, big congratulations to him, and congratulations to the Oakland team and university and all their fans. That's a huge win. It goes without being said. I did want to start the video by giving my kudos to Golke and the Oakland team because you know what the main focal point of this video is. And I hate it's this way, but it's reality. The big topic and the reason everybody's talking about this is not because Oakland won, it's because Kentucky lost. And we'll talk more about this later in the video, but the weird part about this game when you break it down is I didn't think Oakland played that great of a game. I didn't think they played unreal to the point where Kentucky had no chance of winning. And matter of fact, Oakland didn't have a single player outside of Golke shoot over 50% from the field. Not one. And I'll talk more about the players themselves later in this video, like Reed Shepard, Justin Edwards, DJ Wagner, and who's there? Oh yeah, Rob Dillingham. For now though, here's what I want to focus on, and here's what I want to talk about. John Calipari, aka the biggest fraud in all of college basketball, and the only, and I mean the only reason I'm even making this video, because I originally wasn't going to make this video, is I had about 3 or 4 of you guys tweeted me saying, yo Matt, I can't wait for the video. You're so right about John Calipari. You've been saying it for years. And if you've been following the channel, you know how I feel about John Calipari. It's no secret. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was rooting against Kentucky yet again, and I'm pretty happy to see them lose because it validates all my points I've said leading up into this game. And I could go dig up some old clips from a couple months ago, even a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, me stating John Calipari is the biggest fraud in the country and he's nothing more than a sleazy car salesman. But if you've been watching the channel, you know I've said this countless times. I've made at least on the channel within the past 4 or 5 years, 20 videos stating John Calipari is a fraud. All he knows how to do is recruit. And for some odd reason, you'll still have Kentucky fans try to defend him, and I don't mind it. I don't mind Calipari staying at Kentucky because as an Alabama basketball fan myself, that's great for us. He's a fraud. Keep him. Doesn't bother me. I stated this on the channel 2 months ago. Kentucky is easily, it's not even close, the most talented team in the SEC, if not the country. But yet again, it's deja vu. Nobody does less with more than John Calipari. To go along with that, I've stated that Kentucky's best bet is to go after Alabama's head coach Nate Oates because he does more with less. No disrespect to the Alabama basketball team, but they're not that good this year. And only a couple weeks ago, Alabama was leading the SEC with a 12-3 record, and that was blowing my mind because Alabama's just not that talented. They don't even have a true center. But it goes back to what I've been saying. Nate Oates at Alabama, he does more or less. Calipari does less with more. And I know what all you're sitting here saying, Matt, why are you talking about Alabama basketball and Nate Oates? And the reason I bring up Nate Oates when I talk about John Calipari a lot is because I think Kentucky should go after Nate Oates. But I digress. Getting back on track here with Mr. Calipari, the reason I didn't even want to make this video is because I don't like sounding like a broken record player. I'm not shocked to the slightest of bits, guys, that Oakland upset Kentucky. I'm not. Calipari is the definition, and I mean the perfect definition of a sleazy car salesman. He sells you, and when he does all these interviews and he talks to these players, he sounds amazing. He has a great pitch. But when it comes to the X's and O's and just straight up coaching, let's not overcomplicate this, He's mediocre at best. I want you to think about this. In the Oakland game alone, did you see how many set plays Oakland had for Jack Golke? There was numerous different plays they had for him where he's coming off a double screen, a triple screen. He's running in and out, zigzagging, and Kentucky's having to double team him and triple team him. Well, vice versa. When you watch Kentucky play, you know how they play? Throw a basketball out there and go one-on-one or do a pick and roll. That's it. Every now and then they'll run Antonio Reeves off a down screen, but outside of that, that's it. He doesn't coach. He just rolls a ball out there and says, hey, Rob Dillingham, go out there and get us a bucket. And when Dillingham does his Houdini act and magic and it works, yeah, Calipari, he looks great. But case in example here, when Dillingham goes out there and he's missing, and same thing for Reed Sheppard and same thing for DJ Wagner, etc., it looks awful. And here's my problem with Calipari. Oakland had no size. I'm talking about none whatsoever. Kentucky has, I believe, 3 to 4 7-footers? Why were they even shooting? They should have just thrown the ball inside every single play and played bully ball and mash it down their throats. I think there was like 8 minutes to go in the first half and Oakland already had 10 team fouls. And I'll give you a good example here. This is the perfect analogy. Kentucky is in a very similar situation to Georgia football a couple years ago when they had Mark Richt. Y'all remember Mark Richt, right? He was always winning 9, 10, even 11 games per season, but he could never beat Alabama. He could never get over the hump. He could never win the championship. Mark Richt was in a position where you couldn't really justify firing him because he always did good enough to retain the job, but he never pleased you. He never got you that big-time win. Well, John Calipari is essentially Mark Richt, but for Kentucky basketball. I get it. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. But here's the thing. It can't get much worse. And when I say it can't get much worse, here's what I mean. You lost to St. Peter's and Oakland. I don't care if Kentucky fires John Calipari and they go 10-20 next year. And then the following year they go 15-15. Sometimes in this life, you guys take 2 steps backwards to go 3 steps forward. I started, I believe, in 2020, during that bad COVID year. That's when I started saying and making videos on the channel that John Calipari, he needs to be fired. And now it's 2024, so you know my stance on him. But the problem with all this is, guys, is John Calipari is simply getting out-coached. And I saw some people saying after the game, well, John Calipari, he's got freshmen. And freshmen, I think Jay Wright was talking about it, they're not ready for these big-time moments. Reed Sheppard, he got there and he froze. Same thing for Rob Dillingham. Same thing for DJ Wagner. And hey, I'm with you on that. Is it Calipari's fault that Sheppard threw a couple passes out of bounds? No. Is it Calipari's fault that DJ Wagner and Dillingham, they couldn't hit their shots? No, that's not Calipari's fault. But, and I have a really big but, I really need you to feel me on this, Calipari put them in that position. As a head coach, your job is to put your players in a position to succeed. Well, if Calipari put freshmen out there and they made mistakes, that's on him too. You see what I'm saying? We all know this. In March Madness, you need experience to win. And Jay Wright even attested to it. Hey, in 2024, you need veteran leaders on the team. You can't win with freshmen anymore in March Madness. Whether that be true or not, you're entitled to your own opinion. But if that's the case, then Calipari, he needs to get some veterans on the team. But we saw how that went because when he goes out there in the transfer portal and he gets these 3- and 4-year guys, he's not good at coaching them either. That's why he went back to having this all-freshman team pretty much. If you're the athletic director, and I don't know who the AD is of Kentucky, I don't know what more you need to see. This is low-key, in my humble opinion, a blessing in disguise. You just needed an excuse to get rid of Calipari, and here it is right here. Because after the St. Peter's upset a couple years ago, you could have said, well, that's a fluke. But losing to now a 15 seed and a 14 seed, it's not a fluke, man. It's not. And also, it's kind of embarrassing, and I'll go back to the Alabama reference here. Last year, Alabama was the #1 seed in the tournament. And although we didn't win the tournament, we lost in the Sweet 16 to San Diego State. That's not embarrassing. San Diego State was a 5 seed last year, I believe. Not embarrassing to lose to a 5 seed at all, but losing to a 14 and 15 seed, that is embarrassing. As far as it goes for the Kentucky players in this game, I don't think there's too much to break down because Reeves, he had a Reeves performance. He was awesome at Kentucky throughout his career. He had 27 points, 11 for 18 from the field. Dillingham, 2 for 9. Not good. Sheppard, probably the worst game I've ever seen him play. And then we had DJ Wagner, who had a DJ Wagner performance. But here's the thing, guys. I've watched almost every single one of Kentucky's games this year. Sheppard, Wagner, and Dillingham, they're either hot or they're cold. No in-betweens. All 3 of those guys are streaky players, so I just look at that like, yeah, it is what it is. There's many more things I could say, but I am trying to hit the gym tonight, so I need to hurry up and get this video uploaded. Let me know your thoughts on everything we talked about down below. But